Hi everyone. I wanted to go through something slightly different. I find with a busy life and not being able to sort of get out and paint as much or find as many interiors, so I'm finding that I'm more reliant on my studio work and reference photos. But if you have a look, and one of the common things that happens is that the camera can't handle the dark to light that well. So what I like to do, and I've got to be careful that I don't, so I'm just in shadows. So if you can see that background to the back right, top right and foreground right, see how I can, without blowing out the light, we can add quite a bit of depth and colour and light into our shadow. So that's more the reference photo that I'd work on, and similar with that one, but even sort of some landscapes or sort of animal farm sort of scapes. So let's just make sure. So if I'm going that, so, and normally it's around about that sort of 25 to 45 where it's just throwing, if you watch, say that's going too dark, especially the back of the horse, just brings in a little bit more of those reflected lights, those bluey greys on the hind quarters there. And here's a classic very bright sunlight, so I'll just go into the editing. Sometimes if something is overly bright, I will just use the brightness mode, but I find just as powerful is, so I'll really exaggerate it so it hasn't really blown too much out of the light, but once again about 48, and what it does is just give me that fraction more depth. This one may need a little more than the 35, 45 into those really dark darks, so you can see at the top of the shadow underneath that front wheel there's a little more light, a little more colour. So, and colour and light is what really does make the depth. So let's go back into here. So if we have a look underneath the arch, this is a bridge in my hometown Brisbane called the William Jolly Bridge. I believe it was named after one of our Lord Mayors about 120 years ago. So let's go again, but also the trees on the riverbank around about where that word shadows is. See how that's actually getting more light and colour as well. And if we have a look underneath the bridge, because if it goes too dark in under there, that's exaggerating too dark. But you can see how by bringing more and more, or just getting enough in. So it's a matter of playing with that balance of bringing a little bit more. Oops, let's just go into the shadows again. So on the chest area, so between the, so let's go 64, might be just a little too much. So yeah, so it's right into this area that I was hoping to get a little bit more colour, a little bit more depth. And then on a overcast day, sometimes the buildings go just a little too dark because the big light in the sky is saying, oh, this is where I want to set the reading. And if I exaggerate it, it almost makes it look like it's a sunny day. But just that little bit more depth into those, the brickwork, into those trees. And here is another classic one. This one was from Ireland. You may be familiar with this guy. Let's go into shadows. And what I'm looking at for this one is the shadow side of the red boat. So let's go to about 50. So I think that should do it. And it's giving me a little bit more light, colour and depth into this.
When it comes to art, there is no single right or wrong answer. However, there are still a lot of concepts and techniques that students need to learn to create a strong visual language. This course is designed to help you develop and find your own visual language so that you can start expressing yourself more confidently, because over the years I've studied and noted the areas where students tend to struggle the most, and then I've delved deeply into these topics. So we will cover the basics of colour, edge, how to achieve a strong contrast from light to dark, focal points, and creating depth so that you can start to use it effectively in your work. I'll demonstrate a wide range of subjects which I believe will broaden your horizons and allow you to gain experiences that you may have only dreamed of trying. By the end of this course, you'll have a better understanding of how to express your own visual language and create artwork that is both successful and expressive. I invite you to join me for an exciting year of learning and exploration.